Welcome to Vitamin D. Today is what, June 5th? Is it June
Wow.
5th?
Yeah, 6'5", six
Yeah,
five two
June
two.
yeah, June 5th. Sunday, second show. Today, you are here with myself, Brandon, and my brother Byron. Today we are talking about male decorum. So we're gonna bring our brothers a little bit close, and we're gonna pull them nice and close to us, and we're gonna hold them to task. There's been some flags on the play, some violations that we have to address and resolve with our kinsmen, our brothers, according to the flesh. Um, because we're going in a area and a direction that, quite frankly, is harming our people and their future options alike. Byron, just give them a bit of background on, your expertise, where you come from, a little bit of, because I don't think we got into that enough last time. We didn't talk about our familiar status, our marital status, children, things
Yeah,
of
we
that
didn't.
nature.
Damn. Yeah, we
Yeah,
ain't
we
we ain't
didn't.
get these
Yeah,
niggas. We just came in hot, didn't we?
right, right.
We came in hot like nigga, listen to me. No, no,
Right.
but yeah, you right. Yeah, we okay, so let's rewind. All right, so um I am married for 13 years. Since 2009, I married my wife. We've been married, ups and downs, normal situation, like I think like majority of us. We've been together for 15 years, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, about 15 years. We've been together. It didn't take that long for us to get married. I mean, I'm not one for wasting my time or anybody else's time. So, my background is mechanical. So I'm a HVAC R technician. Um, I'm in the trades. I've done uh, elevator stuff. Went there, did an apprenticeship there for a little while. Didn't really like it, so left that alone. Now I've been doing HVAC for the better part of 12 years. I also work in the auto industry. And of course, we have our business on the side that we do, and it's doing very well. So we kind of I come from a more logical based mindset where I deal with facts, statistics, figures, things of that nature. Things that really makes the world go around, the infrastructure. So you talking to an individual that that have close relationships to pretty much every single trade, including your garbage man.
All right. And I guess I will be the counter to that, in a way. So I've been with my wife for, ooh, let me
Ever.
see, yeah, since the Great Depression. It feels like no, I think we've been together for 23 years, going on 23 years. We have four beautiful boys. That's it, all by me. At least I think. And
You better not let her see this.
yeah, well, yeah, she know our jokes. Those kids look weird.
Yeah.
They don't look like me, my daddy, or my uncles and cousins. No, they no. It's what's interesting is they look like your kids.
Right.
So
And yeah.
that's the connection. So, but um, so we've been married. Going on. Let me see. Going on. Was that 15 years? Um, and I work in the telecommunications industry, have been for around about 20 years. Always been in a position of people leadership. And when I said I'm counter to you, I don't deal with machines, I deal with humans who break machines.
Yep.
And, I have to deal with the emotions, the emotional component of the, the opposite of logic. And then I have to, coach individuals to be able to perform those very simple, basic functions that you program machines to. So it's a marriage of the minds to to communicate with my twin about some very basic principles that he's responsible for literally just taking a component out and swapping it with another component to make the whole machine work. I have to deal with the nuances of something as simple as a chemical imbalance to a relationship breakdown to a realignment of focus to achieve a particular goal. It's so many nuances with it. Most of the job is HR, but again, it's something that I've always been in and had a knack for. So when I speak, I'm speaking both from somebody who is a deep throat. Pause in
Right.
human resources and who deals with humans quite a bit. So you're looking at somebody who, man,
It's a deep throat, sir.
yeah, who's pause, son. You know what I'm saying? We talking about male decorum today. You know what I'm saying? Decorum,
All right, yeah, yeah, right.
decorum includes that. You know what I'm
All right,
saying?
okay, yeah. All
Being
right.
respectful. No, it's no, but you're absolutely right. So that's funny. Anyway,
All right, good.
so today we're talking about decorum, male decorum.
And what do you
And
mean by that? Go ahead, man, please. Because when you said it, I'm like, male decorum, man,
right,
that's so much.
it is. It
It's
is.
so broad.
It, it is. It is. But simplified, it is the traditional man failed. We've failed our forefathers in being the traditional men that we were supposed to be. And because we're at a failed state, we behave like women. Quite frankly, honestly, straight to the point, we behave like women in that we throw tantrums, right? And we behave just like them, a complete lack of logic, full on in our emotional tantrums. We dress like them, we behave like them. We have the same catty arguments. We have the same petty indulgence. We have the lack of focus. We don't have the ability of testicular fortitude. We want microwave results. We want to see the fruits of our labor immediately. We need the crowd praise. We can't focus long enough to see a project to its completion. And that in turns has created the circumstances that we find ourselves in today, where our community is in disrepair, where our women are searching for leaders in females that look like them but behave like men. So they think they can't choose or vet the right man. They don't know what qualities to ascribe to a good man. They make all of these mistakes and they pour them inside of their young boys, raising them to be just as uncouth and undirectioned and controlled as everything that they've talked about that they don't like. So we have to right the ship, but we have to pull our brothers by the scruffs, and tell them, hey, listen, you have made flagrant errors, and you have done a disservice to this community, and we will hold you to task. Now, this is a break from our general direction for holding our sisters accountable. Um, and we're definitely going to do deep dives about a lot of the things that we know to be wrong with our women. But today we're going to talk to our men, and we don't my brother and I are not ashamed, or nor do we shy away from controversy when it comes to holding our men, our brothers to task, because we've are only a representation of following rules from our brother. He told us to do something. That's exactly what we did, and we didn't deviate. We didn't improvise. We stuck to the code and we executed completely. Everything down from having one woman, having taking care of our children, being there for our family, being a provider, being a protector. All of the very traditional traits that women say that they want in men today, we have exemplified that, and we have stuck to that code. And we want to see more of our men not only be celebrated by doing that, but also we want to help the young guys who have kind of gone off the path. I wouldn't say that they're in a position of being unclaimed, but now we can have the conversation. You have brothers like us who, I hate to say it, in this aspect, we are above reproach. There is not a single divorce. There's not a scandal. There's not anything that you can say against us that says, hey, these guys are fake or they're not telling the truth. No, we are homeowners. We are business owners. We own business property. We have assets. We are actually walking a walk. Now we're talking the talk. And that's what we talk about, or that's what I meant when I said male decorum. You do not wear the outfit. You do not have the behaviors. And we want to bring those two together to close the gap so that we can start building our legacy. And I can see the kids that walk across the stage like I did yesterday when my son graduated, and see more
Congratulations,
boys.
man. By the way, man,
Thank you,
let
thank
him
you.
know, man. His uncle is very proud of him, man.
Well, just give them a call. Just call them
Yeah,
and let them know.
yeah.
It was cool. And you know what I thought was really, really interesting? I saw a brother stand up there and hand out some scholarships. He's a business owner for the city of Southfield where we stay, and he handed out some scholarships, and that was really, really um, inspirational to me. Something that obviously I definitely want us to kind of lend our hand into, just to help the community out, so that our young brothers can see the visibility of men giving back. But also, I thought it was interesting. The principal, he's a brother. He stood up there, man, and of course, every kid or everyone that spoke said something about their mother, and very few said anything about their. As a matter of fact, none of them said anything about their fathers. Let's be perfectly honest, none of them.
Okay.
But the principal took a moment to say, and I want to take a moment to thank the father. And to me, that hit hard, and that, even though it was a slow swell of gradual claps, but I think that needs to be addressed in terms of, we have not commanded the respect in our community that we should have. And again, I'm not saying that we feel, I'm saying that we should have. There are way more real men in our community than there are F boys, right? Shout out to the song, fuck boy free. What was it? Fuck boy, fuck nigga,
I
something. But
I don't
yeah,
know this stuff.
but see, and this is what's interesting about that song.
Mhm.
It's saying fuck nigga free, but this is the one you choose. And this is the very guy that you choose. Now,
But
since
we got to stay on the
we
on the
we
gun.
are we are,
We got to stay
but
on.
my brothers need to take advantage of this opportunity. This is what the
Okay.
sisters are saying now. They
Okay.
don't want to mess with no fuck boy. So what does that mean that they're gonna need to run into?
Hmm.
Stand up men,
Yeah.
engineers, brothers
Yeah.
in the trades. And we are strictly only going to talk about the trades here. We're not talking about doctors, lawyers. Um, um,
Yeah. This ain't the podcast. This ain't the podcast for them. I mean,
no,
they get enough shine. They
yeah,
do. You know what I
yeah,
mean? And not hating on them brothers. You know what I mean? We absolutely need them. But the infrastructure guys that no one really talks about, the ones that have your internet running right now, have the water pumping through your house right now, the ones that have your air cold, have your heat hot, that have have your toilet flushing, you know what I mean? Them guys, the everyday guys, and yes, the plumbers and all of them, these guys that do very financially well. You know what I
very.
mean? That do very financially well. Yeah, this is the podcast for them guys, not not the aspiring athlete, the rapper, you know what I mean, the trapper, the scammer, them niggas. Nah, I'm not talking to them guys because they're not the majority. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? They're the overwhelming minority of
Hmm.
guys. You know what I mean? The scammers, the rappers, the entertainers, and the higher professional career guys, you know, the lawyers, doctors, they're in a small minority. But the majority of men, the majority, you know, are going to be, you know, your tradesmen, you know, your infrastructure guys. These are the guys that you absolutely need. You know what I mean? These are the ones that are critical. These are the ones that can't even strike by law. You know what I mean?
Correct.
Like
Yeah.
it's etched into some of our contracts that we can't strike, right? Because we're so critical to the infrastructure. Bet some of y'all didn't even know that. You know what I
Right.
mean? Some of us can't go home when the bottom drops out. You feel me? So yeah, I hate to go on my tangent, but I'm very, very passionate about my brothers that's in the trade. You know what I mean? Because not to say that we get left out, it's just that the the importance of our uh our jobs, our responsibility is not highlighted at all. Not at all. And I know a lot of the brothers I work with in the trades, and I ain't even talking about like black. I'm talking about just brothers, period. You know what I mean? That's in the trade. They talk candidly about their significant others not understanding how close to death they come to every single day.
Hmm.
Every single day. And that they still have to come in with a certain level of, you know, humility, you know what I mean? And and repress their feelings and go in the house and deal with, you know what I mean, the dog pooping on the carpet, the daughter not doing her homework, and all of that stuff, where they were, you know, this close to severing a carotid artery. You know what I mean? So, you know, yeah, yes, you know, bro, we definitely have to. We have an undertaking. You know what I'm saying?
We do.
You know, we got an undertaking to do because I do want these brothers to understand, man, that it's okay to be an electrician. It really is. You see,
More than okay.
man,
More than
it's
because
okay
every
for
house
you to
needs
be
it.
right. It's okay for you to be an HVAC, you know what I'm saying, art technician, you know what I'm saying, the operating engineer, heavy equipment, you know what I'm saying, operating engineer. It's okay for you to be those things. You know what I mean? Yeah, you probably gonna come home a little bit dusty at night, you know what I mean? But one thing that you definitely are never ever going to have to worry about, you'll never have to worry about money
Never.
because trades are exactly that, trades.
And it's universal
It's universal. You can
in
go
every
anywhere
country.
in the world. That's
Yeah.
how, you know, when I'm talking to young brothers, when I'm talking to them, and I know you know this because you've been, you know what I'm saying, you know what I'm saying, been there when I'm talking to them. That's the first thing that I say is that the skill that I have, you know, and my background is also in uh, um, airport property as well, you know. But I tell them, I said, well, the career that I chose to go into, the field that I chose, the field of study I chose to go into, has afforded me the freedom that I could literally be blindfolded, taken on a plane, and dropped in the middle of anywhere and still make it, make money because of the knowledge base that I have. Not to brag or anything like that, but you know, uh, the doctor still is going to call me. You see what I'm saying? Um, the lawyer is still going to call me. Um, the you know, I may not be a millionaire right now. You know what I'm saying? I'm still a Henry. You know what I'm saying? you
Right.
know, you know, a high earner, not rich yet. You know what I mean? But I'm going to be a lot of people's first choice because of my knowledge base. And you know, I do think that we need to make trades cool again. You know what I mean? We need to bring back trades, and I like what you know what you was talking about. Me and Brennan was having a conversation, y'all, and we was talking about actually, my wife said the same thing too, that it should be mandatory um, for your boys to have a skill before they go even off to college. You know what I mean? Um, but to leave that house, they need to have a strong skill and knowledge base of the infrastructure. And I want you to talk about the conversation that you had with that young boy that you convinced to go back uh, to trade school. I want you to talk about that, and I want you to spend as much time as you humanly possibly can being
Well,
detailed
this
about
and this is male decorum, right?
it. Yeah.
The responsibility to reach back and help, or at the very least, have conversations. We the more learned of us, the more advanced of us are not even talking to those young
We're not,
guys
man.
at all. They're
We're
just
not.
simply, we're just simply sitting there. Look at them. Look, pull them down. Look at them. Man, this don't
Yeah.
make no damn sense.
Yeah.
Well, it's your fault. You didn't say anything to him. You haven't put anything in his mind. And I challenged myself to have a conversation with a young man. As a matter of fact, it was a sister who recommended that he in fact talk to me, and he asked, hey, well, I'm interested in doing something different. Now, mind you, this is in the business that I'm in. My professional the professional side of the business that I'm in, the job. And when I talked to him and I explained to him, hey, what do you want your life to be like? What do you envision? And the first thing out of his mouth was travel. I'm
You
laughing
know where you
because,
got that from?
right, I'm sitting here like, man, Lord have mercy. It's a female inclination to want to experience luxury. That's
Mhm.
something that all women want to experience. But I asked him,
Leisure.
leisure, yeah,
Mhm.
leisure. Um, and I asked him, well, how do you think you're going to be able to afford that doing what you're doing right now? Do you really have a passion for it? No, not really. Okay, cool. Well, if you want to get into the trades, you do have to understand that this is a duty. This is not a job. We all understand and know that job stands for just over broke, and a career will lead you to death. But a duty is done with a sense of honor and a connection to a historical legacy that pays you in dividends daily. And what I explained to him was, this is something that our forefathers in the HVAC, our community, the masons, the electricians, the plumbers, the pipe fitters, the architects, the contractors, these guys, this started, in century. Listen, we impact and we change environments. This is a male prerogative. This is exactly what we are physically designed to do: solve problems. And what I explained to him was, everything in your life today has to be second. Your purpose is hands down the most important thing. And I asked him, hey, do you have, a significant other, a young lady that you're involved with? And I believe he said, yeah, sort of, this and a third. I said, okay, well, I'm gonna make the decision for you if you decide to go in this direction, that you no longer have a girlfriend. If she's not already your wife, it's going to take entirely too much time, effort, and energy to convince her that you need to devote all your time and available attention to this responsibility that you have. You literally have a duty. And
Hold on.
when
Just hold that thought for 1 second, because I want to jump onto that, because I was watching Muse today, the Kobe Bryant
mm,
story. And he said in there that he knew that he was going to be better than everybody else around him, because he didn't have the distractions that everybody else had. He said when he came in the league, he didn't have a girl. He didn't have none of the normal distractions that took him away from being the best that he possibly could be. So he knew that even if they started at that point, to try to be good or become better, he still was going to beat him because he started at a younger age. So he leveraged. He took what leverage he had and built on it, and used it to 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 help him beat out uh his opponents. Man, I mean, the dude is amazing. I'm glad you did tell him that. I didn't even know you told him that. But go ahead.
Yeah. And that's what, and again, the point was these distractions is going to, because a distraction for a man is not as much as a distraction as it is something that is going to delay the eventuality of your outcome. So it's not as much as okay, well, it's a distraction, so you're no longer focused on your outcome. You are. You'll get
It
there
just delays
eventually.
it. Yeah.
It's just going to delay it. And what's the sense of delaying that when this industry requires time? This is the ultimate. You can't rush it. This is the ultimate. You cannot rush success. You can only evolve in it. And if you are distracted by going to the strip club, and you're distracted by going out and playing games and vacationing and enjoying leisure and taking dinner dates and going on this and going there, it's going to delay your eventual completion or progress, because we're never going to be experts in this thing. And that's the most humbling part about this, is you're never going to be an expert. You're going to be extremely proficient, but you're never going to be an expert. And that's the most humbling part about something that is, for all intents and purposes, it's a science that can't be completed. It's only paradigms being discovered. So that's why,
It can be
this is
improved
something
upon, but can't be complete.
exactly
Yeah.
to be improved upon. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Which means that this has an end that doesn't, really doesn't exist.
Right.
So in explaining to him that this was a duty, and a duty requires sacrifice, and that sacrifice is going to be a few holidays. It's going to be, not being able to answer those text messages, and not being able to, rush to her aid when you need her. But again, this goes back to the decorum that's necessary for you to even get the proven woman that's going to be perfect for you, or perfect for what you need. Because contrary to popular belief, all of these behaviors that you would have to exemplify in the event that you were with a woman is what they want anyway. They want to be ignored from time to time. They want to know that they have to compete for something, even if it's time. Oh, I got to compete against that job. I got to compete against his mom. I got to compete against his friends. I got she and again, we'll probably have to go and do this a little bit later in terms of teaching our brothers the tactic of improving your SMV overnight. But
Mm-hmm.
right now, we're talking about trying to improve your bank account. And what's going to do that is maintaining a specific focus on a goal and outcome. And the outcome should always be enriching yourself financially. And once he understood that young man, I told him to give me a call anytime he needs. I'll even help him, as I'm going through the process, pull him on a couple jobs and things of that nature. As a matter of fact, he called me last night about the relationship between latent heat and BTUs and all that good stuff. So it was kind of cool to be able to share, and crack open a book and go over the formulas and how to calculate that stuff. So, but the point of even having that conversation is that is a man being created right now, and what he is going to be, because he has all of the hallmarks of everything that every woman could possibly want right now. He has a Hellcat, well, not a Hellcat, but he has one of those Dodgers, right? He
Yeah.
has that. He has the height. He's 6'2". He looks like Drake, literally. You know what I mean? But he has a dark skinned man, short, hunger. You know what I'm saying? Like he's been looked over his entire life. And I appreciate that about him. There was no misstep, kind of like and share your story with little cuz about
Yeah.
the type of fortitude that's necessary. Keep in mind, these young brothers, they're going to do what's necessary. They see the progress that we have made, the strides that we have made, and keep in mind, we don't live no shabby lives. They're impressed by it, and since we have their ear, we can help partner with them to improve on the world that we know we're going to leave behind. And it's gratifying to know that we can make that impact on our young brothers. But talk for a second, Byron, about the
Yeah,
young man that you just
absolutely. So if we should have a who did you help this week,
did.
you know what I
I like
mean,
that.
type of deal. You know what I mean? Like who did you impact this week? We should
I like
have that. Like that should be a thing that we should do on the show. And that I think we should Brandon, if you can't write that down, man, that we should, that we should have that every week. Like who did you
I
help?
like that. I like that. Who
You
did you
know,
help?
so right. So my little cousin, shout out, I'm saying to little Dave. Um, he called me one day just out of the blue, right? I don't even know how he got my number because I damn sure don't have it, or I didn't have it at that time, because he in his 20s. I'm, 41. So there's an age gap there that would really put us in the proximity and more closer in age to his father. But anyway, so little Dave called me. He said, hey, what's going on, guys? This is little Dave. I said, oh, okay, what's going on, man? Hey, wanted to ask you about, what you do, eating and cool and all that stuff. I want to know, kind of like how to get started. I said, oh, okay. Well, the first thing you got to do is go to school, you know. Um, he said, well, I went to, Votech, uh, and for heating and cooling. He said, but that's been some years ago. Right now I'm in the plant, so I've been doing that. And he's in his early 20s. I said, oh, okay. I said, yeah, go to the school, go there. They're gonna give you all of the basics that you need in order for you to get your feet wet, or for you to get your foot in the door at least of what I'm saying, of this career. But I can tell you that, it's expanding. It's vast. You can go in any direction that you want to. You can go into controls. You can go into fabrication. You can go into installation. You can go. It takes you anywhere because it gives you the basis of everything, and and you just got to be creative in thinking when I say what everything is. Um, I'm almost literally talking about everything. I mean, this
Mm.
this school is a bang up school. I mean, short of teaching you how to damn drywall, I mean, they teach you everything. Um, you know, just the basics to get you in the door, right? So you won't kill yourself or someone else. I said, so that's where you start. You start there. I said, so when you do that, give me a call back, and then we'll talk further. Didn't hear from him for a couple days or whatever. I think this was like on a Tuesday or something like that, Tuesday or Wednesday, one of the two. Next thing you know, I look on Facebook and I see that, he put on there. He said, "Yeah, just signed up back into school." This was like on a Friday.
Mm.
That Friday, I said, "What?" I
Yeah.
start on Monday. I said, "Jesus, this boy is hungry.
Yeah.
He's totally, totally committed and motivated to have an outcome that's going to take him, what I'm saying, throughout his life. That's going to carry him throughout his life." And I don't know too many people like that. I think I was the only person outside of you actually that took that and just ran with it. I mean, I asked a brother that I was working with at the airport when I was a dispatcher. I asked him, "Hey man, y'all go home laughing and joking every day. You know what I mean? Facility maintenance." And he says, I said, "Man, how can I, how can I get down with that? He said, "Yeah, you got to go to school." I said, "Okay, what school?" He said, "Oh, you got to go to this school." Now, at the time, I didn't have my GED. I didn't have anything. You know what I mean? I didn't follow the traditional path, and this for other reasons that we'll later on get into. But I was like, all right, okay. So I went, took my GED test, passed everything on the first go around, and signed up for school. Went to school. They like, what? You went to school? I said, yeah, I'm signed in. Oh, for real? Then they started looking at me like this damn unicorn. You know what
Right.
I mean? Because I'm in my 20s. They in their 30s and 40s. So they looking at me like, oh, this dude is this nigga hungry. I'm
Yeah.
like, yeah, you know what I mean? So now you fast forward 12 years later, and all of the people that I work with now, it's just like, man, dog, I wish I would have known this straight out of high school. I wish I would have known this straight out of high school, man. I would have been, doing this for almost 30 years now. You know what I mean? So, um, he's due to my little cousin is due to graduate, if I'm not mistaken, in July next month, right?
Yeah, I think
Then he
so.
then he
Yep.
go at the same he went the same time you did, right?
I'm not sure. I think so. I think so. If
I'm gonna have to
yeah,
reach out. I'm gonna have to reach out. Little Dave. Little Dave, you see this man? Let me know. Hit send me a text if I don't reach you first. But by the time that this broadcast, um, but yeah, I think he got a month to go. I remember talking to a whole lot of young cats, and I'm asking them, hey man, listen, this program ain't that long, man. It's a 10.5 month program.
yeah.
I'm like, I said, rewind back, man. What was you doing 10.5 months ago? I don't know.
Here come the DeVry commercial.
Right, right.
what, what was you
What
doing
was you
with
doing
your
10 and a
life?
half months ago?
Right.
Yeah, man, I wouldn't know. I don't know. Exactly. It wasn't a career.
Yeah.
You wasn't putting yourself, into a career. And all of this goes into and ties into the manosphere in this one aspect is that this is about improving and becoming better. You know what I mean? Becoming better, becoming efficient, effective. You know what I mean? Being able to be utilized by the group. You know what I mean? Being a steward, you know, being purposeful, you know, logical, motivating. These are all of the characteristics and the traits that we want to promote into the next generation because that's been lost largely. It's been lost. I was just
Yeah.
talking to, what I'm saying, the elder of mine. Um, and he was asking me some questions with regards to the podcast. He's in the trade himself. Um, he does t-shirts and embroiders and everything. I mean, he does a lot. I'm talking about, and I'm not talking about one of them guys that just do silk screens or just vinyl or whatever. No, he got. I mean, his basement looks like a Vietnamese sweatshop. You know what I mean? There's machines going all over the place, man. You know what I mean? Like he's the real deal. He has hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of equipment in his basement. Very 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 with it, a brother. So he was asking me some questions with regards to you know um, the manosphere, what it is that we're trying to do, who we trying to affect, what is the likely outcome, how we're going to reach them, so he said, well, how do you reach the kids that are in school? He said, because he's a former teacher, and he asked himself, asked me, he said, how do you reach the kids before they get to the point of in their 20s, or what have you, when they're kind of, we got a little bug here, I'm sorry, I gotta be a little hood. Yeah, gotta kill God's creature. But no, but yeah, so he wanted, so I said, well, we're gonna have to sacrifice, us men. We're gonna have to take those days that we have off, or that day that we have off, an hour or two, pick a school, go up to it. Elementary school, high school, middle school, whatever, whatever you want to do, go over there and not looking for any money and not looking for no tail, you know what I mean? Not looking for no booty, going up in there and really talking to these young kids and being a mentor, so they can see it. Because sometimes, man, sometimes it's just as simple as seeing is believing, and I hate to say that because Jesus Christ, was that not on every single library in every single elementary school we've ever went to? You know
That's
what I
true.
mean? So, uh, so I hate to say that. I hate to sound cliche, but that's what we're gonna have to do. And he agreed. Yeah, I mean, we're gonna have to take them, that hour or two that we got. You know what I mean? Go in that lunchroom, sit and talk to that little boy for a minute. You know what I mean? The one that's that's quiet in the corner. You know what I mean? We're gonna have to really get out there, and we're gonna have
Yep.
to get out there, and we're gonna have to love indiscriminately, and we're gonna have to do it charitably. That's what
Right.
we're going to have to do if we really want to affect change. That's
Right.
what we're going to have to do. So, um, but yeah, I mean, yeah. Go ahead. Which one?
No, no, and that's the responsibility of being a member of the collective. That's
Mhm.
just our job. It's just simple. It's that simple. And it's your job, young man, to listen and do.
Yeah.
And understand when I tell you, hey, man, you know, strap, pick your balls up. Stop with all of that back and forth. This is not one of those situations. These are orders. This is not requests. We're not making bargains, because your future, your life, literally is on the line. And yeah, I know more than you. And I know I haven't been through the same. I've been through worse. So you respect that and understand that if it's coming from me or if it's coming from another brother, it's coming from a place of love. And one of the greatest reasons why brothers do need to get, especially into the school, you have to understand what the school is constructed or the education system is constructed of. We're talking about the high 90s of percent of women. That's what controls the school system. We're talking about the high 80% of white women controlling the education system that's being handed down to your sons. So if we don't have, at the very least, some visibility, at the very least, some tutelage, some FaceTime with our children, we're going to lose them by the time they get into middle school, because
That's
they
right.
will look to their authority as being a woman. And it's not to say anything is wrong with a woman being a member of authority. It is a problem for boys, and
No,
that's
it's
just
it's
the
it's a
truth.
it's a problem when it's only
Thank you.
when it's
Too
the
much of anything
only
is bad.
yeah, you know what I'm saying, when it's the only image of authority. I mean, you can just look at the schools now and see that that there's a deficit, and you can point to a myriad of things, yeah, but something is consistent, with that with those numbers, is the fact that there's no men around.
Yep.
There's no men around, and I'm sure everybody, and I think next time we'll come with the video, Brandon, of the school in New Orleans, you know,
Yeah.
with the
Yeah.
fathers, man, who came up there, man. Them brothers came up there and shut it down
Hmm.
immediately. You know what
And
I
they ain't
mean?
whoop a
And
single child. They ain't
yeah,
put their
man, it
hands
was
on a single child.
yeah, didn't have to, and
No.
that's stuff like that, man. Is what I'm saying, is absolute necessity, man. Like it's not a it's not a should, dog. We have to. You know what I mean?
No,
Shout out to
it's not even. It's
shout out
not a
to my
request.
homie. Yeah, shout out to my homie Devon, man. He's doing a great job over there with the Lions, the little league team. He's doing a great job with that, man. And stuff
Hmm.
like that needs to be not only celebrated, man, but we need to put that on our shoulders, man, and really move forward. That my homie Giles with the track team, man. We doing some things out here that are really going to impact the next generation. I think we're gonna get rid of this little curse. You know what I
I
mean?
agree.
I think we're gonna get rid of this curse, man.
I
Um,
agree.
yeah. So, but yeah, we're gonna talk, man. We're gonna talk a whole heck of a lot of more about this, man. We're gonna tighten things up. We're gonna make sure that we get here on time. We're gonna be more
Right.
consistent. You know
Hmm.
what I mean? All that stuff, man. I mean, we got a
Right.
lot of things coming up. Guests, um, that's in industries, that's doing things. Um, on my end and on his end, as far as sales and pretty much cleaning your resume up, being able to go out there and talk, your confidence level. We want to increase that. We want to be able to uh impact you in every single way with dealing with conflict resolution with each other. I mean, one of the greatest attributes about coming here and in this channel is the fact that we're twins. So we're experts. Like, and I said this on the last video, but we're experts at getting along. We are. We and it has nothing to do with you know what I'm saying, just kowtowing and bowing our heads. It has nothing to do with that. It's just being able to actively listen and to listen without what is the word? Without a perception or preconceived notion, you know, being able to listen honestly. And I think both men and women for sure be able to benefit from that, you know, in and out of a relationship. I think, you know, you'll benefit a lot from coming here or, you know, Q&As, um, and asking us, hey man, how do you deal with, you know, disagreements? You know what I mean? How do you deal with, and even if it's something that you're very passionate about, I mean, you know, you know, my brother get very passionate, you know, and so do I. You know, we pound the table, you know, back at each other. We, you know, all right, okay, all right, we get off, we do that. We do all of that stuff. But we just don't stay in it. You know what I mean? We just don't stay in that energy. So these things is very, very important as a man is developing, or a young man is developing into a man. Um, no matter what industry he in, you need to know how to emote. And unfortunately, emoting like a woman and you're a man is a very, very dangerous outcome.
It is.
Very, very dangerous.
It is.
Extremely dangerous.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We have proof, you know, that just happened about that. You see what
Yeah.
I'm saying? So, you know, not being able to control your emotions is a gigantic problem, you
It
know.
is.
So, you know, and a lot of women can attest to that, you know.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah. And you'll learn. So, what I would um leave you guys with, especially my young men who are watching this, or my sisters who have some young men who need to, see some men who are doing some things positively, who's not with all the rah rah all the time. Gotta have a little rah rah in your life. You can't live without it. But too much of anything is bad. Give them this video. Turn them on to our channel and walk out the room, because we are definitely going to say some triggering things, but
yep.
the intent is to create the better version of man that you just simply can't do by yourself. So if you're trying to do this by yourself and you don't know where to turn them to here. And to you young men who are on the fence, you've been out of school, you got your GED, you got your, even if you don't have your GED, or you're going through some issues and you want to turn that energy into something, at the very least, and to turn some energy into something that's going to turn into something positive, go ahead, decide on the skill, whatever it may be. I don't care what it is, what the skill trade is. Go find it, do it, start it. No skill trade ever takes longer than what, maybe 10, 12 months at the most, just to get your foot in. And obviously you're going to do your journeyman,
Your apprenticeship, yeah.
your apprenticeship. But and apprenticeships are generally what, 4 years?
Four
If
years,
you
3 to 4 years, yeah.
exactly, if you
And you
if
getting
you
paid
if,
the whole time while you're doing it, you know what I mean? So
exactly, you got brothers that's going literally, oh man, I ain't scared of no time. I ain't scared of no time, man. And go to jail almost every other month, two or
mhm.
three times a year. But what, are you scared of this trade? Because you
Right.
could have been doing this, getting paid, and you have a skill that can literally pay the bills. You wouldn't
Mhm.
have to resort to violence. You wouldn't have to resort to, the credit card swiping and things of that nature. Um, but more importantly, you can pour your energy into something that's going to be positive, and then it's not like your normal school.
Yeah.
This is ran by people who know how you think.
Right.
And that's the most important point. So try something different. Go ahead, jump into it. And if you got any questions, we are going to have a segment called Trade Talk, where that's all we talk about is just trades. We're going to have different men and women from the industry who will talk to you about trades specifically, because you are needed. People in the STEM fields will always be needed. You will be in the STEM field. That's just what it
Mhm.
is. You are necessary. So with that, Byron, I'm gonna hand it back to you, because there's a game on
Yes,
that
it is.
that we're gonna
Yeah.
miss. So this
Right.
was a good one.
We're gonna do some man stuff now
Yeah,
and
we're gonna
go
do some.
watch
Yeah,
the game like a real man and eat in front of the TV and you know what I'm saying, and fart, cuss, and all that stuff. But yeah,
yeah,
no,
right.
until next time, guys, we you know, like I said, we're gonna tighten up the show. We're gonna make sure that that we're on time, that we're that we're more consistent. It's just like, unfortunately in this business, in the business that I'm in, the temperature goes up, so do my demand. So I'm going to try to, hopefully pretty soon get more people, on the team to where they can handle a lot more of that end, and then I kind of dedicate more time to this end, because this is, like Brendan just said, it's absolutely needed. We're definitely needed. You guys are needed, and we need each other, and we're going to support each other. So, with that being said, we will see you guys next time. And thank you for rocking with Vitamin D Podcast.
Yeah, baby.
Till next time.
Peace out.